What if one of the most recommended gut health strategies is actually making things worse for some men? Fiber is often seen as the foundation of gut health, but for many men, increasing fiber too quickly or without understanding how it works can lead to more discomfort, not less. And the reason isn't the fiber itself. It's the environment it enters. And that environment is not always stable, which means the same food can create very different outcomes. As a clinical pharmacist, in my practice, I notice digestive discomfort, bloating, and inconsistent energy are common concerns men bring up often after they've tried to eat healthier. And very often, fiber intake is part of that story. When men are told to improve gut health, one of the first recommendations is simple: eat more fiber. And on the surface, that advice makes sense. Fiber supports digestion. It feeds beneficial gut bacteria. It contributes to overall health. But what is often overlooked is that fiber does not act in isolation. It interacts with the existing state of the gut environment. And that environment is not always ready, because the gut is not just receiving input, it is responding based on its current state, and that state is constantly changing. Fiber is not digested the same way as other nutrients. Instead, it reaches the lower part of the gut, where it is fermented by bacteria. This fermentation process produces beneficial compounds, but it also produces gas. In a balanced microbiome, this process is well regulated. The system adapts gradually. Bacteria adjust, fermentation stays controlled, and the gut processes fiber without creating excess pressure. The system adapts. The byproducts are managed efficiently, but in an imbalanced environment, the same process becomes less controlled. And that's where problems begin. When fiber is introduced into a gut environment that is already under stress or already imbalanced, fermentation can become excessive. Gas production increases, pressure builds, the gut becomes more reactive. What should support the system begins to overwhelm it. This is often where discomfort starts. Not because something is wrong, but because the system is not yet equipped to handle the load. The issue isn't the fiber. It's the context in which it's being used. As this imbalance continues, the effects extend beyond digestion. Bloating becomes more frequent. Not constant, but more noticeable. Discomfort builds after meals. Energy becomes less predictable. And over time, the pattern becomes easier to recognize. Discomfort becomes more noticeable. Energy can fluctuate. Focus can feel inconsistent. These symptoms are not random. They reflect how the gut environment is responding to what it's receiving. When the system is not stable, even beneficial inputs can create stress. What men often notice is a pattern that feels confusing. They increase fiber expecting improvement. What makes this confusing is that the intention is correct. The effort is there, but the result doesn't match the expectation. Instead, they feel worse. More bloating, more pressure, more discomfort after meals. And over time, they begin to question whether the approach is working. This is where many men stop or abandon the process entirely. The important point is this: fiber is not the problem. But timing, context, and environment matter. The gut must be able to process what it is given. And that depends on the stability of the system. When conditions improve, the same inputs can produce very different results. The system becomes more adaptable, more resilient, and more capable of handling what it's given. From a clinical perspective, one of the most common mistakes is focusing on what to add before understanding what the system can handle. And this is where a shift in perspective matters. Not just asking what to add, but asking what the system can handle. Sustainable improvement does not come from adding more inputs. It comes from supporting the conditions that allow the system to respond appropriately. And fiber, while beneficial, is only effective when the environment is ready. The gut responds to context, not just content. This was episode 7 of the ManBiome series. In the next episode, we'll explore inflammation more directly and how it shapes the gut environment in ways that are often overlooked. Subscribe and enable notifications so you don't miss the next episode. Continue to episode 8, Gut Inflammation in Men. Rebuild from the gut up. The information shared in this video is for educational purposes only. Always consult your healthcare provider regarding your individual needs.